If you don't have a spot to put it, I can include riv nuts and 10 mils if your chassis doesn't have the holes. So like this one has the holes. If yours doesn't and you're putting it somewhere else, I can include some riv nuts. Also the fittings that go into the actual rack itself. He already had a looped line, so I'm just reusing his fittings, but we include these brand new. So the first thing you'd want to do is, after you remove everything, obviously I'm not going to show you how to do that, you can figure it out yourself, but you just put in these two fittings into the rack. And then what I do next is I just mount this unit. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted, and then I'm going to show you how it mounts. Alright, so for mounting it, as you saw in the bracket, there's two holes. Kind of show you. This one tucks under there. But there is two spots. So you can mount it really close to this, or you could technically move it over like here. I guess just depends on like the way your intake routes, how you'd want it, but that's why there's two slots. You only need one bolt. It's super solid. It's not going anywhere. Some people will put like a rubber piece behind it to make sure it doesn't touch the frame or anything. That's what I did on this one. There's just some rubber down there, so it doesn't move, nice and tight. Then you just got the wiring to do. But now what I do next is I'll run the pressure line. So we'll go ahead and run the feed line, and then after we run the feed line, we'll build the return line, and then the last thing to do will be wire it up. So I'm going to go ahead and get these lines built, and then I'll show you how it's supposed to run and what it looks like. Alright, so we got all the lines run. So basically, pressure line, I run it. This is a K-swap, so you can kind of do it however. The line technically for B-Series would come up over, and then you can go around this and around. But you can kind of route it however you want. What I did, K-Series, pretty easy. Just go underneath the mount, and then underneath the cables, right to the feed. And then same with the return. Just goes right on here. All you do is slip the return on. Comes with clamps. That side is push lock, but I also give you a clamp. You can kind of route it however, but I just kind of route it through that. And that's it. The ground is designed to go right on there. Again, if you don't have these holes in yours, you can pretty much put it wherever. It's just the ground. I just like it there. This blue wire is your signal. This is your power. So this will go to power, and then this will be switched to power, whether you do it to a switch or if you do it to the ignition cylinder. So we're gonna probably do this one to the ignition cylinder, so I'll show you how to do that next. But again, power, switch, 12 volt, ground, very easy. And then obviously you just fill it with fluid. It's got a dipstick. Fill it up and bleed it. So I'm gonna get it wired, and we'll see how it works. Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to show you our electric power steering kit and the different ways that you can run it, or the different styles. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you that. Hopefully this video turns out alright. It's kind of windy outside. So here's our reservoir. It's pretty simple. It's got a feed and a return, and it comes with a bracket. Obviously the fluid goes in here. And then you got your feed and your return hoses that run to your rack. So this car was a little tricky because this car actually has a vent. So a lot of the cars I've done in prior didn't have this vent line. So you may just have your feed and your return, which is what comes with our kit. If yours does have a third, let me know. We can get you set up on like this. but your pressure line is the one that's AN and hard, and then this is a rubber return line, low pressure. So just run it like that. Comes with the fittings for the rack, and also comes with all the fittings in the pump and ready. So K series or B series, it fits both, but K series, we just route it kind of like that. If you have the third one, we tee into the return line in order to relieve pressure from the rack so it doesn't build up pressure. So that's on this one. Yours, like I said, yours might just have one or two, but you get, again, you get our full pump, all the lines you need, and the bracket, and the 10 mils that go in the frame. If you don't have a spot in your frame, some Civics have it, some don't, let me know. We can include rivet nuts, and you can mount it like that. So it's pretty easy. And then as far as wiring goes, all it is there's a power wire, a switched 12 volt that would turn it on like its signal, and the ground. So, and you can see we just put the ground right here. And then what we do is we tap into the fuse box over there to get signal power when the key turns on. Most people would wire it to a switch, just depends on how you want to do it. So you can hear the pump kick on, and then you can hear it kind of like tone down. The pump, as needed, will ramp up pressure, and so like when I go to turn it, you'll hear it ramp up and then it'll start actuating. So it's a little bit more quiet, like in idle conditions. But obviously it's a big heavy car, and it still turns like butter. So super easy. It's not crazy assisted, and I'm glad for that because I don't want the steering to be like super loose, but it's pretty good feeling. I don't really know how to describe it. A ton of people use this pump on all different types of race cars. We've used it on anything from this to the E36 race car to the K-swapped E30. A bunch of my friends use it in their random stuff, trucks, anything. I had it in the K-swap S10. So this is our kit. It's on our website, rudzracing.com. If you have a custom application, I can make custom lines, whatever you need. Just give us a call.